Hi, YouTube. Um, I recorded a lot of stuff, but I just don't have time to edit it right now, and that's okay. That's not what this is about. There's been a lot of things going on in the world, in America specifically, that I know of because that's where I'm from. But also my world, and I'm not in America right now. I'm in Japan, and I'm watching what's going on in America from Japan. And I'm realizing a lot of things while I'm living here and witnessing what's going on. Uh, Particularly, um, the consequences of what we consume. And what I mean by that is food. I realize social media is bad. There's a lot of things we consume that's bad. But one thing we don't necessarily think about all the time is the food we're eating. And comparing the food in Japan to the food in America is wildly different. And I would say the primary reason for that is that Japanese food seems and feels healthier and also easier to access. So it's not that you can't eat healthy in America, but it's harder to access than it is in Japan. Um, that's due to rising prices and just the overpopulation of unhealthy food that just, mountains of cheese and sugar and anything that's tasty. But, like, it's also sprinkled in with chemicals in these American foods. And, it's making me realize that, like, my brain has been changing because I've been living in Japan, because I've been eating differently. Uh, and I know this because I have brain damage. I have a TBI. I was hit by a car. And I have a condition called hyperacusis, which makes sound harder to hear. And that's the primary reason I came to Japan. It has a very quiet culture. But eating the food just from 7-Eleven or these convenience stores, the cheapest way to buy food, I've just noticed dramatic differences in my mood, in the way I function, the way I process thoughts. I haven't felt creative in 10 years. I thought I grew out of creativity. And then a couple days ago, I, I just suddenly, wanted to be creative again. I had these bursts of creativity that it came out of nowhere. Like while I'm, in bed. It's not like I'm looking at something beautiful and being like, man, I'm just ready to, make art. It was just, it felt like a switch in my head, like something changed. And this is all making me realize that the food that we consume in America, and with these Epstein files coming out, with all this government leaks and information coming out about American politics and stuff, it's making me realize that America prioritizes profits over us, which is clear to a lot of us by now if you've been keeping up with what's going on. But eating Japanese food has really made me realize that we're really being poisoned. Um, I feel like the food we eat in America, it suppresses parts of who we are. Like, I had a sudden urge, like, my brain damage affects socialization. Um, and some parts of that I've forgotten about because it's been years since I've gotten hit by a car. But another thing that happened all of a sudden was I just suddenly had the desire to socialize. Like I had this motivation to get up and go be around people. And that's just and I'm still doom scrolling like most other people. I'm still consuming this toxic social media. And I could say I'm probably addicted to it. I don't always feel addicted to it, but I use it every day. But regardless, that's not what has stopped me from being social. It it felt like magic, a magic switch, where I realized that I, I'm a social human being. You know, we have desires to go meet people, and that's natural. And I've been spending the last 10 years kind of doing socialization passively or forcibly, knowing I need to be around people, knowing I'm getting depressed from being alone, not the desire to go meet random people and see what their lives are like. You know, I'm sure that's not common in everybody because I have brain damage, but it's just odd that the change of food is what really seemed to do it. I mean, I'm on a beach right now in Japan, and I've been on beaches before, and it's a great town, and I love it. But I wouldn't say that there's anything special about it that I haven't experienced before. Besides being around different cultures, which is always cool and interesting, but why am I feeling all these things in my head? I'm just consuming food differently. Is it in the air? Is it in the water? Is like, are they poisoning our water in America? Are they, is it, there's been stuff coming out about chemtrails being real. I never thought those were real. I thought those were always a conspiracy theory. And most things that have come out recently, I've just never really bought into. I tried to stay grounded and realistic, and I just wonder what's happening in America to make me feel so different. And everyone I interact with in America is depressed, and they don't know what to do. That some of them, you know, have things going for them. They have, you know, people in their lives. They have girlfriends. They have all sorts of things to look forward to, but they don't feel good about what they're doing. Am I just feeling good because I'm traveling? Or am I feeling good because I'm consuming different things? Because I feel good even when I'm inside in a room. You know, this is a white wall. There's 4 white walls around me. There's not a wood floor and a bed. It's nothing special. There's no TV. There's nothing in here. There's an air conditioning unit above me and a nightstand. But for some reason, I can feel more content here just from consuming the cheapest food I can possibly find in Japan than going to Buffalo Wild Wings in America or, you know, any restaurant. Like you eat these greased up fries, cheese, mountains of cheese on everything. Cheese is great. I love cheese, but I don't think it's, what our brain needs all the time. Things in moderation are great. Having a treat every now and then is great. But like it feels like when you go shopping in a grocery store in America, you're surrounded by, bread or sugar or things that convert into sugar in your blood. Like it's so hard to find food in America that doesn't have sugar in it. Like why is that? Why are we forced to eat sugar if we want something tasty in America? Like the tasty things in Japan, they might have sugar, they might have sodium, but they don't, they have other things in them. They have, vegetables that taste better. And that's another thing that like our food isn't like fresh in America. Like a prepared food in a grocery store in America could sit out for a week. they replace the fresh food here in like the same day. Um, and it just makes me think like some basics about life are really what's making us feel the way we feel. And I don't think that there's any controlling that in America. There's too much power over all these systems that uh, conduct what we eat, what we consume, what we're around, um, and what we do. And that's true with any government, but why is America so difficult? And why are all these foods that are poisoned, 10 times the price as they would be here in Japan? It doesn't make any sense. How can one government make their food accessible and then another one completely inaccessible? I get that, our current political leaders could be evil and corrupt, and they probably are, but if they really wanted to help us, then they would make these foods healthy and easy to get. But they're not. There's no way. Like, you can go to the produce section and you can buy raw vegetables. And you can do that anywhere. But it's hard to make food if you don't know how to cook, or if you don't know the recipe, or if you just don't make food. We've been trained our whole lives to go to McDonald's and, just get prepared food. It's quick. You don't have to make it. You don't have to be perfect. You'll just grab it and go. And that exists here in Japan, except with food that doesn't make us depressed and angry and stupid. It's like, I think that the food we eat actually makes us unintelligent, because our brains need proper nutrients and and not poison to function properly. You'll always function better if you have a great diet. Your body will recover better if you have a great diet. I've been on American diets that are very strict, and where you're only allowed to eat natural food, and you feel great. But it's so hard. It's not easy. It's painful almost to eat that way. It's like primitive, but it's not even primitive, because we're creating these foods. These have been made over years of engineering and genetically modified, whatever. So, I'm not saying that's always bad, but we just don't know how these foods are being made. We don't know how they're being farmed, unless you're the farmer. And if you're the farmer, there's a good chance you know how to eat well. I don't know any farmers, but I can imagine they know how their food is being made. And if they know how their food is being made, then they know that they can eat something real. And I just worry that in America, we're not eating real food. We're eating food that simply makes the rich richer. We hear that all the time now. The rich get richer, the rich get richer. And that's the whole theme of America, as I'm starting to realize. The hospitals aren't designed to get you better. The hospitals are designed to get you on prescriptions, which is a subscription to them. It's no different. They want you to keep coming back. They want you to have that medicine for your entire life, so that you're feeding that pharmaceutical industry your entire life. If they fixed you If they made you better, then you wouldn't go back. We wouldn't need it. And on one hand, developing advanced medicine is valuable in a lot of circumstances. But why are we funding that through our own self-destruction? Why is our ailments the ones funding the medical industry? Shouldn't that be a basic human right? Shouldn't we all, have access to the life-saving stuff? It doesn't make any sense. Why aren't we being healed? And why am I being healed here in Japan from brain damage just by eating and living? It's mind-blowing to me. We just don't need we need to. Something has to happen to America. Americans, maybe. Maybe it starts with Americans, not just the government. If the government has proven that they're not going to do anything for us unless it puts money in their pocket. So, I guess your instinct is like, why don't we just go to communes? Why don't we have societies that are built off the basis of, human flourishing? And, there's problems with that. Who makes the legal system? And, the first legal system in history is to have an eye for an eye. And, sometimes that sounds better than whatever legal system we have now, but to elect a leader is controversial in a commune. I mean, typically, in primitive societies, a leader was chosen by who's the bravest. But is that really what we need anymore? Is someone brave? Or is that person just gonna get killed by the real leaders? It seems like something has to happen within all of us. We all have to have an understanding. We all have to be leaders of how our bodies function. Maybe we need to educate ourselves on how to flourish. And part of that is socialization, too. And we, in America specifically, we just are not socializing like we used to. We used to, go meet people and ask for a girl's number on the street. We used to do things differently. And knowing we're in America, it's my deduction that that's also a construct created by our government or the higher power elites. Anything that we're consuming in America is primarily feeding the pockets of the rich. Social media. It's robbing us of social life, of a promising friend group and friends, talking to people, meeting people. We just don't have that anymore. We're all sucked into our phones. We all go home, we lay in bed, and we watch YouTube videos, and we look for the latest tech, and we think maybe that'll be, what entertains me for the next decade or whatever, before you can afford another one. Because, how can anyone afford anything nowadays? How can anyone afford any luxuries without these interest rising monthly payment plans you see on like eBay even or Amazon, where it's like, oh, just pay $55 a month for 4 years and you can have this laptop. You can pay 4 years to own a laptop. um, that you've been convinced you need now. And I wonder what the way out of it is. But I don't see, the mass population of America just subsiding to the rule that's been established. I see that, you know, such a large group of people can come together and make changes for themselves. It's not like you can go out and, attack these higher elites. You're not going to go fight them physically. You can't. And if you convince yourself that, if you're like a gun guy, which I'm not, there's not, whatever. If you like guns, like you're not going to go pick up a gun and you're not going to go find, a government official and you're not going to attack them. First of all, it's impossible. If you think you're capable of that, you're crazy. Like, that's not going to happen. We're not going to overthrow the government. There's always going to be someone powerful in America who wants to make more money. And they will be replaced by someone else who wants to make more money, because it's this melting pot, not just for culture, but for capitalists. It's a melting pot for capitalists. People that want to make money stay in America. If you don't need money, why would you be here? Why would you be surrounded by poisonous food, poisonous technology, and, like violence everywhere, and anger everywhere, and misunderstanding everywhere, and division? You wouldn't want it here. People come to America from other countries so that they can make minimum wage, so they can send money back to their poor countries. They don't come here because, because they hear we got good hot dogs, or we got the worst McDonald's in the world. Like the fast food. Yeah, it's a fast food tour. We're just speed running every Sunoco and Exxon, or it's just I like, maybe California, like some of the cool places in America look appealing on social media. Sure, like beach life in California I particularly love, or the mountain ranges in Colorado I love, but like and that's the thing. There are things to like about America. A lot of the geography of America is beautiful, and there's a lot of reasons to live there. But it's just littered with, this elite, almost propaganda to convince us this is what comfort is, and this is the easiest way to live. I think that's where people have it confused, is that people think that America is the easiest place to live in the world because people come here from other countries to make money. So why would you leave if you can make the most money in America? Well, the answer is you can't afford anything. So these people that are coming from other countries, they live super cheap. They live in houses with dozens of people in them, and they make money because it's so much easier than what they do back home. It's not even like ideal, it's not luxurious, it's just better. And chances are they're living better lives back in their home country with all that money, because they're not surrounded by like toxic sludge and, brain rotting technology that we shove in our faces every single day. And I guess, if I had to think of what an individual could do to fight, these elites, I think the best thing you could do would be, I don't like saying this because it's not easy. I have trouble doing this, but, first of all, growing your own food is obviously great. If you can do that, you're amazing. But that's not accessible to everybody. It's crazy we have to pick organic foods in a grocery store over regular food, but I guess you should do that. Um, you should eat perishable foods, things that go bad, not these processed crackery foods that you shove in your face while you're playing video games. It's just not fun things to say. It's not like I'll convince you to go do that because you're addicted to these foods. They have chemicals in them that keep you coming back. Um, Whereas, you go buy a stalk of lettuce at the grocery store, it's gonna taste like lettuce. I mean, sometimes I eat raw lettuce because I want to be healthy, but if I go buy a salad here in Japan, well, it's you know the same price as like a stalk of lettuce, but it's pre-prepared, and somehow it's delicious. Um, which is like, you know, it's crazy to think that there's just a $3 option down the street that I want to eat that is good for me. Whereas in America, if I want to eat healthy, I have to like, mm, yeah, tomatoes, raw tomatoes, or like, we convince ourselves we're eating healthy when we let a slice of tomato and a leaf of lettuce on our cheeseburger. I mean, I do it too. I'm not calling anyone out. I'm talking about myself. Um, if you do eat healthy in America, you're like you're disciplined, you know. And I just don't have to be disciplined to eat food. I don't think anyone has to be disciplined to eat food. I think that's wrong. I think eating food should be enjoyable every time you do it. It should be a gift every time. It shouldn't feel like you're hurting yourself. You feel like you're hurting yourself when you eat healthy food. You feel like you're hurting yourself when you eat McDonald's. Um, it's like, you know, so where's the middle ground? Why can't I? And it's like that. Those options in America are expensive, or just I've been to bigger cities in America, and some of them they have like better food. Sometimes San Francisco, New York. Um, I liked. I think some of the healthiest food I even ate was in Florida, because they can catch fish, and that's fresh. Um, it's fresh food we need. We need to eat fresh food, real food, not processed food, and the more access we have to that stuff, the better we'll be. The happier we'll be. The more social we'll be. The more ready for life and wanting life we'll be. So many of us are sitting at home in front of our phones, waiting for life to get better. Um, and it starts with us getting out of, it feels like jail. How do we get out of America? We don't want to. We don't want to leave our families behind. We don't want to leave our friends behind to go live a better life. We grew up here. That's what we know. When you're a kid, you don't think about these things. Your body consumes these toxins a little easier than when you're older. And then when you're older, you're ingrained in the society. Your friends are everywhere. You don't want to leave. Your family is ingrained. Most of these people don't have the same feelings you do. They don't talk about them, or they don't recognize them. They just passively let it happen. And I hope that things change. I hope that, you know, these Epstein files or government leaks lead us to a new way of life. I hope we can, like, I hope we can separate ourselves from corporations, because I don't think they're selling us products for prosperity. I think these corporations are selling us products to harvest us. And that sounds dramatic, but they just want money. We're hearing it every day. We're hearing it all the time. I feel like a broken record. I feel like I'm just repeating what other people on the internet have said already. But the battle that you can make is to eat healthy food. And put your phone down and go hang out with friends. Go meet people. Go talk to strangers. And, you know, people are nervous right now. If you go approach someone in public, they're going to be on their guard. They're going to be like, what does this guy want? What does this person want from me? Because we all want something nowadays, and, we need to start wanting connection. And that's it. That's all we should be getting out of saying hi to someone on the street. You should, in a public park or event, you should say, like, hey, where are you from? What part of the neighborhood are you in? What do you like to do? And, see if you vibe with them. And if it doesn't work out, move on to the next person. Because someone out there wants to talk to someone. And that's important for us to stay happy, is talking to other people. You don't have to make your best friend every time you talk to someone. You don't have to make a lifelong friend every time you talk to someone. You just have to make a connection. And you don't have to worry about, is this a boy or a girl? Am I attracted to them? Are they going to be the love of my life? You just have to worry about, who are you, You're a real person. And what can I learn about you while we're here? What can you do to make life more interesting for me right now? And if that's nothing, that's okay. Not everyone has something interesting to say. It's how life is. Life's ups and downs. But it shouldn't all be down. That's for sure. Life should not always be down. And if you feel like life is always down, then go to a grocery store, buy organic vegetables, buy organic, meat, if you like that, and cook something. And do that for a week. Force yourself, because it's hard to not go to the processed foods. They taste good and they make your brain feel good for a second, but just ignore it. Drop it. Go get food that doesn't taste amazing because you're in America, and just force yourself to eat it for a week. If you can do it for a month, you'll feel like a superhuman. Why? Because I've done it before. If you eat completely naturally, you'll feel amazing. Your body will be able to recover from injuries within 24 hours. You'll be happy. You'll have energy. You'll have energy to do whatever you want. You just have to try. And then once you get on that diet, go out and talk to people. It doesn't matter who they are. Talk to anyone. And don't make it about money. Don't make it about any intentions. Make it intentionless. Just meet people. And get to know their lives. Maybe find someone working on an art project in public and ask them about it. Or anything. If they're working on a project at all. Maybe someone's walking their dog. Talk to them about their dog. Maybe you always wanted a dog. Maybe, ask them how it is having a dog. All sorts of things you can do. Talk to someone, at the basketball court, at the skate park, at the gym. But always be respectful, It's a big thing in Japan. To just maintain respect. Everything we should do should be about, making the people around us comfortable. And we shouldn't sacrifice our mental well-being for that. We should be embracing connection in respectful ways, in intentionless ways, to not gain anything. Don't worry about your loneliness. Don't worry about your problems. Don't worry about what someone else can fix. Because what someone else in public can fix is your connection to life. So, stop using social media for a week. Start eating healthy for a week. Start talking to people for a week. You'll feel like a human again. You won't feel like you're trapped in a social media nightmare that is on repeat with elites eating babies or whatever. Just go experience life and don't let these people poison you anymore. I'll try to upload my other videos, but I don't think they're as relevant as this right now. I think this is what people want to hear. So, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. And honestly, like, tell me your thoughts. I mean, if you think I'm wrong, then talk about it. If you think I'm right, great. I'm glad we're on the same page. Maybe, like, talk to your friends about it. Lightly, because no one wants to be told what to do. You can bring it up. Just don't force it down anyone's throat. We just need to make people aware that it's possible to live normal lives. That's what we need to do. It needs to be present in our lives that's an option. We need to stop believing that there are no options for us. So go live a healthy life, guys. And let me know what you or us want to talk about next. Maybe I'll get to that. I don't know. This came off the top of my head. No one told me to do it, so I don't know. Thanks for watching. Peace.